Thanks to the supporters of channel member Jack S. Well, boys and girls, we knew this day was coming eventually. Today is the day we say goodbye to Leamington. Hello and welcome to part 47 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, like I say, we say goodbye to Everton, to Leamington. Pretty sure I'm not managing Everton, and the new offer is not from Everton either. Worry not, but as you can see, we do have at the top of the screen a must respond. That must respond is a job offer that when you see it, I'm sure you'll agree, is too good to turn down. But before we go and accept the job offer, I think we just need to take stock of exactly what we've achieved here at Leamington over the last 5.5 years. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to check in with what's been going on since the last episode. As you can see, we have continued in excellent form. And we actually did beat Colchester in the replay of the FA Cup first round, a comfortable 3-0 win. We also beat Fylde and Stevenage in the league, two teams that were big promotion rivals and actually beat us earlier in the year before this fantastic run began. And the final league table, oh my word, we're so close. I firmly believe that if we'd have carried this on, we would have won the league this year to the point. And I want to know what you think about this down in the comments section. I'm actually quite tempted to continue with Leamington over on Twitch as a new Twitch save in the new year and turn it into like a one club road to glory over there from this point. We can't do it here on YouTube. I can't do split saves or anything like that here. It would get too confusing. We are definitely moving on to the next club. Today, we'll be starting there with the first episode of the new club tomorrow. But look how close we are. I'm not ready to go. So if enough of you are convinced it seems like a good idea, then I think we carry this over to Twitch, probably in the next week or so. And at the very least, play out the end of this season just to see what would have happened. Because after being 13 points behind Port Vale at one point earlier in the season, this incredible run of form has actually brought us back to within 2 points of Port Vale. We're 20 goals ahead of them on goal difference. And as you can see, we play them this month. We actually play them on Boxing Day. In addition to that, we've got an FA Cup second round tie at home against South Shields of the National League North. So in our potential short-term future, we have an FA Cup third round tie that could be against who knows what. We could be going top of the National League. And, you know, we could be effectively finishing the job here at Leamington that we're not going to get the opportunity to finish. But what a job we've done over the course of these 5 and a bit years. If we just have a look at our competition history, just to put in context for those of you who maybe not watched the entire series so far, but we picked things up obviously at the start of the 2021-2022 season. It was a tough season. It's the biggest struggle I've ever had in the first year of a Non-League to Legend series. Potentially the most difficult season I've ever had in Non-League to Legend or even on YouTube, full stop. I know we've had relegation seasons in the past and things like that, but I don't know. That was a tough season. And we only escaped relegation by virtue of it being a reduced National League North because of, unfortunately, a few teams folding in the previous year due to everything that's been going on in the world. And we kind of just got away with it a little bit, but a 19th place finish, a massive negative goal difference. We had a lot to build from there, and we did well. We got up to 8th place the next year, finishing just outside the playoffs. And then the next year, of course, we did win the National League North, getting 109 points in the process. And that was a National League record, a National League North record, don't you know? We then almost went back to back. An incredible first season in the National League, as I'm sure you remember, finishing third, and then that disappointment at Wembley of losing in the playoff final after looking so good in the semi-final when we absolutely battered Port Vale in the semi-final. And then, of course, we had the difficult second season last year, finishing down in 10th place. We did get the run through to the FA Trophy final, so a second season in a row, a trip to Wembley, and a second season in a row of disappointment as we finished mid-table, didn't win anything. And it was the only season of the series so far where we had a little bit of regression, 83 points down to 71 points. It was another tough season, but we did the work. We put the things in place to get us where we are now. And as you can see, after 27 games, we've already got 61 points. Last year, we only got 71 over the course of the whole season. We only need 22 more points to equal our third place points total from the year before that. We are looking very, very good for promotion this season. And then, of course, you've got the FA Cup shenanigans as well. We've had some good cup runs in this series. A second round defeat to MK Dons. We got to the first round and faced Lincoln. First round and faced Preston there. And I think we've got a very, very good chance of making it to the third round of the FA Cup this season. And who knows what might come from there with the money that potentially brings. And of course, we've turned the club on its head off the pitch as well. We've relocated, albeit temporary, to Butts Park Arena in Coventry. I'd like to think promotion to the Football League will be the nudge that the board need to redevelop something back in Leamington. It would have been nice to have the opportunity to take Leamington home. I certainly don't think we can go into the Football League with a synthetic pitch. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens next season. And then transfers really started to pay off. The transfer policy that got questioned at times. Let's not pretend it didn't get questioned at times. The focus we had on young and up-and-coming players, but it really has started to pay off over the last year or 18 months or so as we continue to bring in real top young talent. And as you can see, we've now got to the point where we're starting to sell them off for big money, starting with Amani Gilks, who went to Coventry for 150,000 in the January transfer window at the start of this year, so less than 12 months ago. And then, of course, in the summer, selling nearly £500,000 worth of player. David Roberts going for big money. Michael Johnson, club record transfer. James Norris went as well. And there's probably a queue of players who are potentially on their way out in January as well, which could potentially scupper the promotion push and the FA Cup push. But all of it means we are in incredible financial shape off the pitch as well. A club that was struggling to stay out of the red when we arrived has now got nearly £750,000 in the bank. We've got twice or three times the wage budget we had when we started, and we're consistently staying within it as well. The board are absolutely delighted with what we've been doing. As you can see, delighted with the set pieces, happy with the high tempo game. There's not a chance I ever would have been fired from Leamington, which is why I've been so reluctant to move on. You can see I am untouchable. I'm earning £1,000. I'm being careful not to show you the job. I'm earning £1,000 a week here at Leamington and have over a year left on my contract. No doubts at all that they would have offered me a new one as well when the time came. But a different time has come, and it is now time to move on. It's time to say goodbye. We have had a lovely time here at Leamington, but these things can't last forever, especially in Non-League to Legend. It is with a heavy heart that I say goodbye to these boys and make what I think some of you are probably going to think is a controversial move. In storyline, it makes perfect sense. In the context of last year's Non-League to Legend, maybe less so. Because after all of that, the team that have actually offered me a contract that is too good to turn down are Peterborough United, the club that I support in real life, and the club that we ended up managing after Kettering on last year's Non-League to Legend. I'm going to need to check with Sports Interactive if the fact that I have Posh listed as my favourite club means they're more likely to come for me. Because if that's the case, I'll make sure in future Non-League to Legends I don't list myself as having a favourite club. Obviously, we have had incidents in the past where I've gone back to clubs for a second time. Posh will be joining the list with Ipswich, Southend and Arsenal, and I think Bristol Rovers. Others, all teams that I've managed on different Non-League to Legend series. I don't think I've ever done it back to back before. But look at this offer. How do you turn this offer down? We're earning £1,000 a week at Leamington. Peterborough are offering me £3,000 a week. It's a massive pay rise. It's not much in the way of a geographical move either. And again, thinking in terms of full-on realism, my birthplace is Peterborough. I'm going back home to the team that I support, and they're going to be giving me a £9.5 million budget, a £275,000 a week wage budget to manage in the Championship. So it is different context to last year's Non-League to Legend when I joined a promotion-chasing team in League One. We're now joining a team that is clinging on to its Championship place by the skin of its teeth year after year. Nearly halfway through the season, exactly halfway through the season, Posh find themselves 22 points on the board, level on points with Barnsley and Derby. Millwall are on 17 points, 5 points behind, but do have a game in hand. It is close. If we don't hit the ground running, we are going to have a big problem. If we have a look at how Posh have been getting on during the save so far, you can see that it has very much been a case of battling against relegation and just clinging on. That first year equaled the club's record ever finish of 10th place in the Championship, which was previously set way back in 1992-93. And of course, after that, if I just scroll up a little bit so I'm not in the way, what followed that back in the early 90s was relegation. And that's usually the story for Peterborough in the Championship. Relegated again at the first time of asking in 2009-10. Came straight back up, but then an 18th place followed by a relegation. This has been the longest run ever in the history of the club in the Championship, but it has been a struggle for most of the last 5 years. 19th, 15th, 20th, 16th, now sat in 20th place again. They've got through some managers as well. Darren Ferguson getting sacked in 2023 in January after nearly 4 years in charge on his third spell. Tom King then took over, who is he Blackburn manager in real life? No, he can't be. He's Liverpool's fitness coach in real life. Went to Blackburn. This is why I didn't know who he was. Went to Blackburn, then through Posh, and he's now managing Crewe, but he lasted 2 and a bit years before he got sacked. Dean Smith, of course, managing Norwich in real life, left Villa, went through Portsmouth, had a little bit of time out of the game after Villa, obviously didn't hit Norwich in FM terms, Portsmouth, and then arriving at Peterborough, but only lasting, what's that, a year and a half, 2 years before he also got the boot. So it looks, I mean, managers get a little bit of a chance, but it seems like the board aren't happy forever being in a relegation battle. They certainly won't be happy if we get relegated. The board's expectation is that we avoid relegation, and then from then on become an established Championship team before moving on to establishing ourselves as a top half Championship team, something successive managers have always failed at. It's uncharted territory for the football club. They've never been there before. They're going to look for me to play attacking possession football. We can certainly do that. Sign players under the age of 23 for the first team and develop young players. It's what we do. This one I'm a little bit questioning. Sign high reputation players, because I don't know that necessarily fits in with that. They seem to be opposites. It's interesting to see how we mesh them together. And of course, we are pretty good at making the most of set pieces. And over the next 5 years, it's all about signing young players to develop for a profit. That's what we've been doing at Leamington. We know we can do that. We know we can work within a wage budget. Again, sign players to sell for a profit is a big theme of the club. And minimum 2-year contracts for first team players is a weird 5-year plan. But I guess we'll go with it. So we are going to start the negotiations, see if we can squeeze any more money out of them, and hopefully not balls this up, because after all of this, wouldn't it be brilliant if I ended up talking myself out of getting the job? Oh, my word. Are we able to change any of this? I don't know if we're... Maybe this is stuff I should have changed at the interview, because I would quite like to take the high reputation player thing out. I guess we can leave it in for now. It's not going to be that much of a big deal, as long as we meet everything else. I think as long as we... Realistically, if we end up as a mid-table Championship team, I don't think any of the rest of it will matter. I think that will probably be fine. So let's try and push for a little bit more money. Let's ask for 3.5k. Actually a longer contract that I'm on at Leamington as well. Perhaps we should have gone higher. Straight in at 3.5k. That is big money. We are going to have some fun doing some house hunting tomorrow. We also get a pay rise on promotion as well. But we will finalise that deal. And it does mean when we hit continue, I am no longer the manager of Leamington, which I guess means we have to take off the badge. If I can get the badge off. They're making me leave this stuff here. Take off the badge. We've got the training shirt, which that's done. This tie. This is my Leamington tie. I can't wear this if I'm not Leamington manager anymore. Considering I'm going to the team I support in real life, I didn't expect to have such a heavy heart doing this. I'm going to miss Leamington. I have had a lovely time, but we need to change the lighting to blue because we have moved on to Peterborough United. In a move which is sure to spark plenty of heating debate, Kevin Chapman has left Leamington to join Peterborough. It's like they're getting advance notice of what's going to be happening in the comments section. Heated debate, I think, is probably an understatement. I arrive at a record of 148 wins, 67 draws, 76 defeats in his career. I've also won a league title. It was the National League North, but still. Managing one of my favourite clubs. My first game in charge is against Crystal Palace in like 2 days' time, I think. I'll face pressure to bring immediate success, having stepped up from my previous standing to take sole charge. Don't really know what that means. And will need to hit the ground running if he's to win over those who believe his appointment is a questionable decision. Most of the comments section, probably. Aaron Cook was considered to be favourite for the job. Who the hell is he? After he was spotted attending an interview, I'm more stealthy than old Cookie, it seems. Leamington, of course, now looking for a new manager, and we will check in on Leamington to see how they're getting on. Look how happy that version of me is to get the job. Chapman, a National League North winner with Leamington, brings a wealth of experience with him. He's earned himself a reputation for signing players under the age of 23, appears to be a great fit for the club's vision at the ABAX Stadium, prefers to use a 4-2-3-1 formation, was famously knocked out. I famously knocked Colchester out of the FA Cup. That was like 3 days ago. Is that really my biggest claim to fame? And will no doubt be hoping to provide similar memorable moments in stepping up to a bigger club. Peterborough are currently lying in 20th place in the Sky Bet Championship. Peterborough United have won 2, lost 2 and drawn 1 in their last 5 matches. That seems like the previous manager was sacked a little harshly, unless those 2 wins have come under interim manager Matthew Everington, who I think remains at the club. I've not brought any staff with me because I figured a step up from the conference to the championship, I probably need entirely new staff. So media prediction is 20th. Club reputation is 3-star. We know all these bits and bobs. The transfer budget is extraordinary, but I guess we are in the championship. Having managed Peterborough in the championship on Twitch when the game first came out this year, I do know that is a massive budget for Peterborough. That is huge. We are going to do some business in January, and this is the squad. So it is a very unfamiliar squad. For me as a Peterborough fan in real life, the only player still there, at least in that first 11, is Harrison Burrows, who's one of our youth players who's just bursting into the first team in real life. Looks like he's developed into a really excellent player, which is exciting stuff. This is the young striker from Arsenal, isn't it? Tyrese John Jules' nephew, I think, of your fella out of Red Dwarf, if I'm correct there. 24 goals in 99 appearances for Peterborough over the last 3 years or so. Our top scorer is Jack Rodoni, who is valued at 10 to 11 million pounds. This is a whole new world for me. He's another attacking midfielder. There you go. He's in central midfield in there. Do we get to see who the highest earner is? Also Rodoni. Hot prospect is Felix Tessen, who is a young striker with a 5 o'clock shadow. Beautiful to see. And we've also got a non-league to legend veteran in there in the shape of Luke McCormick, who just seems to be someone who's always around and about my clubs in this game. Although he is currently on the transfer list, which is interesting. Is that the guy from Leicester as well? Sam Hughes. I think he's at Leicester in real life. I could be thinking of somebody else. And Kwame Poku. He's there in real life as well. He's one of our under-23s at the moment, but it looks like he is on his way out of the club. So it's going to be interesting. We'll have a quick look at the team. It looks like they're used to playing a 4-2-3-1, which, I mean, that's certainly going to mean that we can kind of just bed straight in with the tactic that we're used to using. So we'll just bring the Leamington tactic in straight away initially. It looks like my assistant manager thinks we should do control possession, tiki-taka, or a fluid counter-attack. We're going to kind of ignore him and just bring the champions tactic in initially and train that as one option, because that's what we're used to doing. That seems to be the logical thing, bring in what we're used to doing from real life, from the previous club. And if we have a look to see what we've got, best player at the club by star rating is Liam Kitching, who's a centre-back who came from Barnsley for only 100,000, is now worth an absolute ton of cash. Matt Olasundi is a right-back. So we've got some decent players in some useful positions here. Andy Nelson is on loan until the end of the season. He's another right-sided player. So the right-hand side is looking pretty solid because Rodoni looks like he wants to play out there as well. We've got a decent goalkeeper, Ellery Balcom. Leighton Clarkson is another Channel veteran. He's been around in a few series before. We know he's a useful option in midfield, as is McCormick. I mean, that Clarkson and McCormick is a very good central midfield partnership in the Championship, or at least it has been on previous FMs. I think this is your guy off of Leicester. It is, yeah. I think we signed him in the Twitch save for Peterborough. There's a left back, 2 left backs. Ronnie Edwards is still here. In real life, he is now in our first team and is referred to by our chairman as New Stadium because he is that good. Selling him is going to pay for our new stadium one day. This probably explains why we don't have a new stadium, because we haven't sold him yet. One thing I'm not noticing, and you have to go all the way down here to find one, is a striker. It looks like we're going to have a similar problem to what we've had at Leamington. Just finding a striker who's going to score the goals for us. Our highest rated one is this guy. He's only scored 3 goals all year, having come in from Oxford. But he actually did quite well in League One the year before. And then John Jules, who was there on the little preview thing, has only scored once all season. So the problem is clear. This football club needs a goal scorer. We need to figure out how to provide one, because we've got a league to sort. That's interesting, having the formation on there. So it looks like Dean Smith was playing a 4-3-3. Matthew Everington has brought in a 4-4-2, and it was him who provided the 2 wins. We're going to sling that 4-2-3-1 in initially and play through December, doing what we know how to do, get a real feel for the team. We've got 6 championship matches to figure out what's what before we get into the January transfer window, when we've got this money to spend. It's all well and good telling me I've got 9 million to spend, but we already have to adjust some of that to cover the wage budget. So we've actually only got 8 million to spend. I've been lied to already, but there is decent money in the bank. And we have to figure some stuff out. When is the next match? 3 days. I have things to set up. We will be back tomorrow for the first matches. So you'll see Crystal Palace and Stoke tomorrow. I don't know if my club tie and club badge and things will have arrived by tomorrow. But as a Peterborough fan in real life, don't worry. I already have shirts. So we'll have shirts. And I've got a blue tie around here somewhere. I won't look a complete scruff bag, but there'll be proper stuff arriving soon. I'm nervous because it's a scary move. I don't know if I've ever done a leap from the National League to the Championship before. Tomorrow is going to teach us a lot. And don't forget to let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see me continue Leamington over on Twitch. If we get enough interest, we'll definitely do that, at least through until the end of the season, just so that we can see how that all ends up. If you have enjoyed this video, if you've enjoyed Leamington, if you're excited for the Peterborough journey to begin tomorrow, or if you're just having a nice day and want to share your happiness, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.